Good morning, and you're very welcome to this morning's live. Now, this morning we're a little bit earlier than planned. I'm here in Cosentino in their beautiful showrooms, and I've been working on something with Hugh Wallace, which is fantastic. And he's very kindly agreed to be my guest this morning on our live. So myself and Hugh, we're going to be chatting about real homes. Now, over the years, Hugh has been he's seen so many homes in the TV work that he does, and obviously in his work as an architect as well. So we're just going to be chatting about home design, about trends, about how things have changed, and even the impact over the last 15 months on how we've been using our homes, and what that's meant for home design, what home design looks like for the future as well. So I'm just going to invite Hugh to join. So there we go. So just wait now. And thank you so much for everybody's questions that you sent in. So we'll run some of those past Hugh. We'll have a little chat about them. Lots of people asking about, here we go. Oh, there we are. Hi, Hugh.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. You're very good.
Thank you very much, Denise. And it's great to be here. I'm techno today, look.
Oh, fabulous. Amazing. We can hear you loud and clear. It's wonderful.
Great.
Well, Hugh, I'm just saying in the intro, you in your role as an architect, as a TV presenter, you've seen so many real homes over the years. And I guess, for people who are very familiar with Home of the Year, what is it that you look for when you're judging, when you're looking for a winner with people's homes?
I'm looking for the actual homeowner's personality, funny enough.
Brilliant.
And that sort of can be quite tactile. It's not something that sort of you can identify one thing, but it's a combination of how they've used their personal bits and pieces, assembled the story. And you get a real sense of family homes as well. And I love that.
Yeah. No, it's great. And I think over the last while in particular, it's something that people are really keen to do. I would have seen over the years that people were, when designing their homes, they were doing what other people were doing. But now there's a real desire to put their own stamp on it. They're looking at how they use their home. It's very personal. And I think it's wonderful because it means that each and every home is so totally different from the next, which is the way it should be.
Yeah, and there's a bravery out there.
Great,
Over the past 8 years, I've been doing Home of the Year, and you can see the change in the way people are willing to push out the boat and make statements. And there's also a real sense of, well, I like it, you don't need to like it.
Yeah, which is great. And I mean, that's what you want. It's your home. You need to walk in there, close the door and feel fabulous. And it doesn't really matter if your next door neighbor or your brother or your sister doesn't like it. It's your home. So that's wonderful.
And I love the use of color. I think that there's a bravery in the use of color. But I also think it's a part of the personality of the homeowners. And I think even still today, people are afraid of color. And they resort back to greys or off-whites or, safe colors. And then even when they're choosing their furniture, they're a bit safe, and then their cushions are a bit safe. And it really is the opportunity with accessories to introduce that punch of color and fun. And I think a home should be fun as well.
It should. No, and you're so right. Like, even if you aren't that confident with using color, accessories are the ideal way to experiment and play around because, they don't have to be expensive, super easy to swap it and change it and totally refresh a room. So, you're absolutely right. It's great. And the last series then was filmed obviously during these very challenging times. Do you think did you notice any difference this year in particular or last year with the way people were using their homes? How had that impacted people's homes?
Well, I think a lot of people were struggling as to how they worked from home.
Okay.
And therefore you found sort of compromising desks appearing in bedrooms. And in a lot of cases, the dining room table became the desk.
Of
And
course.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that is very unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think going forward, a lot more people will be working part-time from home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And therefore they need to create space
Yeah.
that they can identify as where they go to work. And
Yes.
funny enough, that might be even being as bold and dramatic as taking a bedroom and
Mm-hmm.
literally
Mm-hmm.
having the size of it and doing a sort of a mini exercise on one of the rooms where you're literally putting in bunk beds, transforming the room and creating that office space that you really need to do. You need to get up in the morning, walk around the house 10 times, go back in and go to your office,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then go out the door at 11 or at lunchtime and walk around the house the other way.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know you're so right, though. I mean, it is important to have a space that you can walk away from and you
Yes.
can leave behind because otherwise the working day blurs into the evening. And as you rightly said, it isn't healthy. It's not good. It's not good for people at all. So very important to claim a space for the office area. I think it's really important.
But I also noticed, particularly this year, the outside was very important,
Yes.
and how people use the outside and that whole
Mm-hmm.
relationship of external space to internal space, and
Mm-hmm.
getting that additional living room or
Yeah.
dining room or barbecue area
Mm-hmm.
that, if you like, you could throw the kids out, or the parents could get thrown out and leave the kids in the house.
Yes, exactly. No, it's fascinating. I had a good pal, and he had it was like a garden room, I suppose, but really, before this, they'd used it just as a storage for bikes and everything. And that became his and his wife's escape completely, like from the kids. And, he did a bit of work. She might have done a bit of exercise out there, but it was just an absolute godsend for
Yeah.
them over the last while. So, it's been fascinating to see people who would have had maybe unused rooms. All of these things have taken on a whole new life, a whole new purpose. And really, like, it's wonderful. People are using all of their homes now, whereas before, I think there were some houses we went into, people were saying, I need to extend. And actually, they weren't using maybe 60% of the house. So it's been really good from that perspective.
Yeah, we actually have a project at the moment, and the client wanted to put on an extension.
Yeah.
And we looked at it and said, will you actually have a dining room that no one ever goes into except at Christmas?
Yeah.
And, move the kitchen to there.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you've got your extension.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so often the case. And I think, for people, it's really hard for them to see past how they're using their house every day. So they forget about these spaces or they think very negatively about them. So they can't imagine them being usable, wonderful spaces. And they feel the only way to solve this is to build. But often it's not the case, not the case at all, which is
No, and
great.
you're much better off, if you like, using the money you've saved
Yeah,
by putting it into the materials in the home. So the quality of the
absolutely.
materials,
Yes,
the
yes,
functionality, it's just amazing. I always think Martin and myself, my partner and myself, always keep moving houses, and we take as the opportunity to clear out the cupboard.
yes,
So the
yes.
house we've now moved into is a one-bedroomed cottage.
Lovely.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I threw out half of my pots and pans because
Yeah,
in
yeah,
reality I use them once a year.
yeah, yeah. Which is mad, Hugh, when you think, and it's really fascinating. I think all of us have, well, we haven't been able to buy things. We've just taken stock and realized, why do I have so much stuff, particularly clothes?
Yeah.
Why do we have so many clothes? All these things, and they do cause stress. They cause clutter. You feel like you're running out of space. So yeah, I mean, moving house, ideal time to take stock and say, look, do I really need all this stuff? Do I really need all that space? Yeah, much better, much less stressful way to live.
And the other thing that's very interesting is if you get to know an art gallery,
Hmm.
and there's lots of galleries around the country, and you become friends with the owners.
Yeah.
What I find is we have a collection of paintings. We get sort of bored with the painting. We'd like something new. So we actually go to the art gallery and do a swap.
Oh,
So we
wow.
don't transact money per se. We barter a painting for a new painting.
Fabulous. Isn't that an amazing idea? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And we
Wonderful.
bought an amazing piece of sculpture,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have enough money. So it was 1,800 quid, and it
Mm-hmm.
took me 18 months to buy it. So I used to go in each month and give them 100 quid.
My God. Yeah. 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 I remember doing that years ago. Brian Thomas, would you believe, used to do it when I first started working. I was saving up for God knows what, some dress or something. But they used to let you do that, go in and pay. So every time I got my paycheck, I would go in and pay a
I
little bit
love
off.
it.
It was amazing. Amazing. You can't do that anymore. No, that's wonderful, Hugh. And actually, we've got lots of questions. People have sent in questions to
Great.
both of us. And I know there was an awful lot of questions about sort of, the whole thing about fast fashion, but the same with fast sort of furniture. And I guess, again, in line with that idea of buying less but more considered, thoughts on that, Hugh, really, when people are buying furniture and bits and pieces for their homes.
Well, I think that, funny enough, at the moment, there's opportunities to buy classic pieces of furniture if you look at
Yes,
auctions and
yes,
get stuff reupholstered.
yeah.
And if you buy a classic piece of furniture, it will not date. That doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
it's an old-fashioned piece of furniture.
Yeah.
There's amazing Italian modern pieces. There's super stuff being done in Ireland
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
by buying those pieces, if you like, there's a lifetime in them.
Yes, there is.
My observation on fast furniture is that it isn't timeless, and
Mm.
therefore, in 4 or 5 years' time, you'll actually go, I don't like it. You'll have bought it in Pasha Green,
Mm.
and all of a sudden, everything you do for the next 15 years is related around Pasha Green.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in buying furniture, my opinion is that less is more. And
Yeah.
if you like, the color is brought by way of cushions or accessories.
Accessories. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But you're so right. Like buying those vintage pieces. And actually, I spoke to Niall Mullen a couple of months back just about this and how, investing on these older pieces of furniture, like they were built to last. So they will last you a lifetime and you can repair them, restore them, refurbish them. Whereas, the fast furniture, it's not an option. It serves its purpose. And then as soon as it gets damaged, you've no choice but to throw it away. So yeah, it's a lovely thing to do. And you have something that you can pass on to future generations. It can stay
Correct.
in the family, which is so nice. Yeah, so nice as well. Fabulous. And then we had another load of questions, Hugh, people asking about their planning projects. They're at the very early stages of the projects. What's your advice for anybody about to embark on a home renovation or extension?
Well, I think first of all, they should engage with an architect or an interior designer or an interior decorator, depending on what they're doing.
Sure.
And I think that's very important because when when you're looking to redesign your home,
Hmm.
sometimes you're a bit blinkered. You think you have the
Yeah.
solution because you found it on social media. But in fact, by using an architect or interior design, your horizons expand.
Yeah.
And they're going to come up with ideas you hadn't thought about.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's where the opportunity is to really transform your home into something very special, unique, and something you didn't think about.
Yes. Yeah. And like we were discussing, maybe you think you need to extend, but by bringing in somebody who's trained to think about these things, you might find, wow, actually what I have is enough. I just need to reconfigure. So you could save yourself a huge amount of money as well, which is wonderful.
People are always concerned about fees,
Yeah.
but the starting point should be to work with an architect and interior designer on a consultancy basis,
Yeah.
so that you get to know the designer, and if you like, that may be an easier starting point for people
Sure.
rather than worrying, going, oh, I have to employ an architect and an interior designer. Whereas if you buy consultancy time, they
Hmm.
will at least set you in the right direction.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from there, you're much better able to make choices as
Hmm.
to how you're going to do this project going forward.
Definitely. Well, they'll give you a plan to work with. So then at least you know I'm on the right path, and it gives you the confidence, I suppose, to move forward, which is so important. It's what it's all
Correct.
about. Yeah, wonderful. Great. And then another question, lots of questions, Hugh, about dark rooms, north-facing rooms. What is the best sort of glazing to go for, how to light them? What's your advice? And have you seen many homes with this issue when you were judging Home of the Year?
Yeah, north facing. Funny enough, I actually think north facing rooms are easier to deal with than
Hmm.
east facing rooms
Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
because the north light is actually a lovely light
Hmm.
because it's a constant.
Hmm.
The issue is in grabbing enough of it.
Yeah.
So that might involve enlarging windows. But funny enough, Pilkingtons have a glass that actually sucks in the light and,
Okay. Yeah.
and increases the light within the room. Now, from the outside, it does have a very strong color tint.
Okay.
So that can be a bit off-putting. But
Hmm.
northern rooms, in my view, uh, can be just as good as any other room in the house. I think it
Hmm.
then comes down to, is it going to be in whites or light colors, or is it
Hmm.
going to be, I'm facing north, I'm going for broody, and I'm using, amazing aubergines or blues or,
Hmm.
those chocolates,
Yeah.
you know,
Gorgeous. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Because a common mistake is people try and brighten a room by painting it white or yellow, and they just feel clinical. It feels, you can't do that. So the thing to do is try and make it lovely and cozy, and introduce lots of table lamps, that sort of thing to create
Correct.
atmosphere, ambience. Yeah, no, really nice. Wonderful. And then finally, Hugh, just over the years, like you have been in so many homes, are there any that stand out or any one in particular that really was memorable for you?
Yes, in the second series of Home of the Year, there
Hmm.
was a holiday cottage
Lovely. Yeah.
down outside Killaloe,
Uh-huh.
and it was a modest chalet, which had been just transformed by exposing the rafters, by using whitewash
Hmm.
paint on the inside, which gave this sort of tactility to white and sort of showed up all the defects and blemishes in the timber, which
Gorgeous.
gave
Yeah.
the sort of softness and quality to the space. They had over the years collected amazing range of classic furniture, had them
Beautiful.
reupholstered, beautiful chairs, couches, Danish styled settees, and just the whole thing was one of thought and detail and time.
Amazing.
So it had taken them time to
Yes.
actually, because of cost, in terms of buying furniture
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I just thought that they'd started off with a book, a school book, paper copy book, and
Hmm.
stuck down what they wanted in each room.
Lovely. Lovely.
And they used that as their reference for the next 5 years.
Fab. And what a lovely, like that is a message that, I'm always telling my clients, it's so important that homes need to evolve. This
Correct.
idea that you can walk in and it's all perfect straight away, it'll never feel right. It'll feel more like a show house really than a home. And
Correct.
what a lovely case study. It took them years and years, but all the more rich for having taken the time, which is just so lovely. Yeah, really lovely. Brilliant. And people asking you actually if they can see photos of that. Would there be photos online if people wanted to look that up?
What I'll do is I'll dig those up. I'll get
Fabulous.
those from the production company, Shinna Will, and I'll get them up online.
Amazing. Amazing, Hugh. Well, listen, thank you so much. So lovely to talk to you this morning. You're so good to give up your precious Saturday morning. I know how super busy you are. Really enjoyed chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Denise.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye bye,
Bye bye.
everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye.